Hello everybody, Walter here. Welcome to episode 11 of my Let's Play series for Satisfactory 1.0. In the previous episode we started working on the factory that is going to produce all of the rubber and plastic we're going to need until the end of the game, which is the oil processor. Now we are not done with that one yet, so let's quickly jump back into the game and have a quick look where we left off last time, and then get building. So, here we are. Now, what we already have handled is the production of the heavy oil residue, the handling of the byproduct, which is polymer resin, and then the dilution into fuel. What's still missing is turning the fuel into rubber and plastic via the recycling routes, and also, at least for now, power. Because this one here will serve as the intermediate power plant between my coal power plant, which will then be removed, and my actual power plant, which will require blenders and subsequently a little bit more work. So, with that in mind, let's get started. And I'm going to start with 6 of those production lines here for power production, which are going to use this power module here. So let me just quickly get over there so I can properly add that. And of course I had to land in the water. So now, just going to make sure this is roughly at this correct height and position. And now I can make my way up. And check, okay, this needs to be moved one over. Yep, that looks good. Yeah, that's the first of 6 of those for each production line. And now all I need to do is grab one more of these, go in blueprint mode, make sure this is the correct way around. And then the last 3 I'm going to place on top. And just need to wait a few seconds until I have enough materials moved over via the dimension depot. And now I have 3 gigawatts of power just waiting to be connected. And for that, first I'm going to need the fuel. Obviously I will have to do the same connections to the modules at the top. But for now let's just work on the ones at the bottom. Then I'm just going to go through here, because this is where I have the power connector. This one here is now full, so I'm just going to go over here and chain them just like that. Okay, that's the first 3 modules connected. I will do the other ones at the top in a moment, and I'm for now just going with 6 of those production lines for power production. And that should be enough power. So now it's time for the plastic and the rubber production. For that I have once more some blueprints. And the first one I need is actually the one for the plastic. Just going to make my way over here a little bit. And then just have to make sure this is aligned the correct way around. That looks good. Now I just need to make sure it's also properly aligned over here. Yep, looks very good. Then I'm going to grab the recycled rubber. And that needs to be aligned on the edge here, I think. Yep, this way around. And then finally I have the end segment, but that will come in a moment once I have connected everything on the inside. So, what do I need to do? Well, for one, I need to connect these 2 conveyors. And then for the other, this pipe. And then we have the power over here. Now just need to get through here. And do the same thing once more. For one, I have my fuel here. Then power I have over here. And then finally, I should have... come on, Mark 3. Move here and once there. And that is all connected already. So now I can close this off with the final module, which is this end segment here. And that should actually be already perfectly aligned. Yep, looks good. And yeah, now I just need to build a few more of these modules here. And here we go, all of the modules are now in place. I did run a bit low on motors towards the end though, so I had some waiting time. I used to already add, for example, these walls here, which close off everything to the waterline. I also added an entrance down here, so I can get in there in case I need to do any troubleshooting, which I hopefully won't, but you never know. Now, next up on the agenda, before I can actually fire this up, is getting some crude oil. And for that, if we scan for a moment, you can quickly see that we have two oil nodes I'm aiming for, which is the one we're already using, which is pure, and there is a second pure one over there. I don't need this one here, this is just normal, and I think there's another normal over there. But those two here are more than enough for what I have planned. So let's very quickly make our way over there. And now with all of the enemies removed, I can get started on the building. Yeah, I'm not going to deal with this one. So, first things first, I need a somewhat raised foundation. So I can place everything properly. This is slightly a bit too much, but that is not an issue. So, then we have our oil extractor, which I'm going to place like so. Then I can remove the foundations again. Now, I need under architecture the road barrier, which needs to be snapped to this step there. Then I can grab another big foundation and let's say place it here. Then, under blueprints, I prepared a very special blueprint, which is just one foundation, which I can then control snap to this foundation here, maybe like so. Then I can get rid of this one there. And now I can go with my extractor platform in blueprint mode and just need to make sure that is properly aligned. So that is already looking good. And I think I need to move this one step over. I think I need to move this a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, like this. Okay, that's fine. This one done. Now I just need to connect the pipe here. Color code this probably. And that's my oil extractor placed. For some reason the connection there was missing. Oh, strange. Of course it was missing since it wasn't part of the whole thing. Okay, so. And now from here on I have another blueprint, which is first the single pipeline. And once I get along to the second pipeline, I'm going to use the double pipeline. And yeah, basically now I'm just going to do one thing, and that is make my way from here and here all the way through this gap and then to this spot here where I have the actual inputs for my oil processor. And once all of this here is hooked up and connected to the power, it's time to, well, power everything up. And the pipeline is in place. I actually decided against going the long way around. This here was just a bit shorter. Now, as I can see, there's already a decent amount of flow, although it's already saturating. So it's now time to actually power up at least the periphery, which are the water extractors and some of the pumps. So I'm just going to connect the power over here. And all the way over there, the power of the pipeline is already connected to the fuel power and the power storage over there. So we should now see all of this here powering up. So let me just put a power pole there and we can see, okay, it's drawing from the power. And yeah, consumption is already a decent level. And that is just the water extractors basically and some pumps. So now we're just going to wait a little bit until all of those pipes here have been saturated with water and crude oil. And that should be enough. So let's make our way over to the main power switch here and turn on in the circuit breaker priority the first 4 of these. Those will produce power, and then the last 4 which will produce rubber and plastic. And that is all I can currently handle due to being limited to the Mark IV conveyor belts. But we should now start seeing these here turning on. And what's with those? Yeah, we're seeing an outflow. Okay. Now, if I've built this correctly, even if it's fed from below, which you should usually avoid, I should be able to get this here running properly. Yeah, that's looking good. Those are already running. Okay, these appear to also already be running. Yeah, of course the water is running. I just need to wait a little bit until the fuel is being produced, and at some point we should start seeing these here firing and producing power. So, a good while later, this is now all running smoothly after I've found a few missing power connections and even a few pipes that were looking right, but not actually connected to anything. So, yeah, that happened. But anyway, this is now all looking very good. And as you can see, we are getting the full, or almost full, 12 gigawatts of power from that. Yeah, now it's back to the 12 gigawatts. This will still occasionally run a bit low on fuel in some of those, but at some point it should saturate and then we should no longer have any dips in there. Now, at this point I could in theory get rid of this part over there, but it's not hurting anyone, so I'm going to keep it in. What I now should start working on though is the train station. So for that I'm going to need a little bit more space, and then I'm going to first go to blocks out and then one up. And that is basically my marker for the next part. Might be a bit too far over, but we'll see in a moment. So, for that I'm going to use my standard platform for the rails, and I just need to rotate this the right way around. And that looks good. Just need to put this smoothly into this corner, and the output should also align properly here, I think. Yep, that looks good. That's the first part done. Then I need, for the foundations, in blueprint mode, and let's actually first remove all of these parts. And then, as I said, I need the real foundations. Just need to make sure this is the correct way around. And of course it is not. So that looks pretty good. I need 4 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I need 1 more of those end stations. Yep, that looks pretty good too. Now I could add a layer of foundations below, but it's not really necessary since all of this here will be hidden away again. So then let's go into transport, and that is where I need a train station first. And that train station will have to go, let me see, need to be aligned with this foundation here. Yep, that looks good. And then aligned with the center. So just a few blocks over. Yep, that is the foundation done. Should also run in this direction there. Yeah, come on. Yep, that looks good. Then let's add an empty platform without anything on it on the outside. Just hope this is the right way around. Yep, that looks good. There is one orientation where you have some struts sticking out of the sides, but that is not a problem in this case. Then I do need some freight platforms, and I need them in this direction here. 1, 2, 3, and then another empty platform just to close off the edge there. And that already looks pretty good, I must say. So we can get up here, make our way up there, and check out what this is all about. So then let's continue on. I will do the decorations and stuff later. But next up on the agenda are those inputs here. And for those I have again some blueprints prepared. The fried loaders in this case. Just need to make sure they are properly aligned. One there. Wait, that's the wrong way around. Of course they need to go in the other direction. So, like that. So, just hope this is... come on. The right way around. Yep, that looks good. That looks pretty good. Now I just need to make the connections over here. And I also have to make sure that each of those conveyors here goes into one of those inputs over there. So let me very quickly put in the rest of this platform here, and then we're going to work a bit more on the rails. And that is all of the conveyors, as well as the power hooked up to the train station. So I can now close this part off, and you can already see it's being loaded. I put it on the other end of this main power switch here than the rest of the setup, because this later on will be actually the side where the power comes from. So I need the main switch in between. Now, next up, it's time for the rails. So for that, I am going to quickly grab the railway, hook it up here, then over here. That should be the perfect spot. Then let's get out of the way. Over here, then one further, over like so. That's in parallel, and looks good. Just don't want to get too close to the conveyor lifts, otherwise I get clipping, and that is not looking good usually. So then, that gives me a bit of distance. That is all parallel. Yep, that looks good. Let's just quickly check that we are not getting any clipping. Okay, we have enough distance. That is very, very good. Now, over here, I originally had a plan to use this S shape here. So basically, I would move this railway next to the railway coming out there, and then curve them over. But that is not going to fit due to the hill here I didn't really take into account. So I'm going to change things up a little bit. Namely, I'm going to try to go directly right, and then move it more or less in parallel to the structure here. And then along the beach, so along the beach somewhere, until I reach this area here where I'm going to stop for now. And yeah, so let's get started on that first. So I am going to need a couple foundations. And in this direction I need 4. And then there I will need a little bit more, I think. Yeah, that looks like what I would expect. Yeah, let's keep that out. Now over here I'm going to need a curved segment. So let's grab that. That was here the quarter curve. Yep. Just need to make sure it's properly aligned. A bit too high. Let's just hope I can get this in here. That is looking a bit problematic, actually. That's annoying. Let's see, if I were to grab just a half foundation and place that over here, then I should be able to at least get it somewhat aligned in the height department. Come on. It's still too high. What the hell? Ah. With control, it worked out. Okay. So, now. Aligning here. And then aligning over here. Yep, that is correct. Just have to make sure this is all, as I said, properly aligned, or it would look Not good. Okay, it's a little bit of set fighting here, but it is manageable. Okay, then let's put in the rest of this floor here. And this one here. And let's get rid of these plants. So, then I am going to temporarily add another 2 here. This is just so I can place down some rails as the target rails. Wait, rails. Yeah. So, this goes to the center there. Hopefully I have placed this. Yeah, not in the middle. That is annoying. So, now. Let's check. Okay, that looks better. Second one. And that looks good too. Then I can likely connect this here directly. Yep, that's already this part done. And then over here I need to make sure the rail here goes one foundation further. This is this foundation here. Yep, and that is where we need the curve to the middle of this foundation here. So that should be... Let's see. I need one more. Is that parallel? Yep, that looks parallel. So I should be able to connect that up to over there. Okay, that is looking very good indeed. Now I can get rid of this part here. And then I can grab some of these railings. And finish up this side here. And this side... Oh, come on. Here. Just up to the spot there. And then over here. That should be enough of the railing. Now for the sides. I do need a little bit of an output for power. So let's connect over there. The power input will be right in the middle between the two. Outlet there. Connect to the connection over there. Now I just need to close this part off. This part off. This part off. You're done, basically. Except I think there is still a gap over here. Okay, let's close this off too. Then just at the last few bits of decoration around. And that is the train station here basically finished. And now I'm going to use my prepared blueprints for the rails, namely the rail double stump, which has space for 2 rails and also some power. And as I said, I'm just going to run this from here all the way to somewhere over there. Well, we have finally arrived in the spot I was aiming for, which took a lot longer than I expected, but now we are here. You can also see I decided to use the version that includes some lamps, since it was looking a bit bare bones before. Now, for the moment, the rails are going to stop over in this spot here. I did run the power wire though up to my base, since I have a lot of surplus power in my oil processor at the moment, and why should I waste that? So, next up on the agenda is grabbing around 90 Caterium per minute and 180 copper per minute from this area here, where a decent amount of pure nodes are collected, and run this in a Mark III sushi belt all the way to this spot here, where I have my improvised setup for rubber and plastic production. And that's the sushi belt in place. I've also already removed the containers and the dimension depots for the rubber and the plastic. Since I don't need them anymore, I have a way more efficient setup over there with the oil processor. Nevertheless, I'm still going to make use of all of these materials here with one little blueprint, which I just need to rotate around a little bit and then move. Oh, it's even center line already. So this is going to need power from over here. It's also going to need the conveyors from here, and here, and here. So, now what is going on here? Well, let's just have a quick look on the inside. So this is the sushi belt, and that gets separated into copper and caterium, which is then smelted into the ingots. Those are then for the most part turned into quickwire using the fused quickwire recipe, which I haven't even unlocked yet, I think. Interesting to see that blueprints can even import unknown recipes. So, that is then for the most part used to produce circuit boards, or at least some of it is used to produce circuit boards together with the plastic that is being moved in. Those circuit boards make their way up. Part of the copper also makes its way up, and I didn't even include the letters, I just noticed, so I will have to do it this way here. So some of the copper makes its way up here, is turned into wire and then cable. And that is together with quickwire and circuit boards turned into high-speed connectors. As well as over here, the circuit boards, quickwire and rubber turned into computers. Those then make their way up to the third platform up here and into storage and dimensional depot. So all of this here to produce a small amount of computers and high-speed connectors for, well, for one for research, which I would like to finish with today, and for the other for, well, obviously building stuff. Now, this is going to take a little while until it properly ramps up, and yeah, okay, we are already getting the first few caterium in there, so very soon we should start to see stuff being produced here. But until then, I think we are going to take a little bit of time for adventure in this area here, grab some more Soma Sloop and Mercer Spheres, and once we're done with that, we hopefully should have enough to unlock the next milestone. And that's another one, as well as a message, apparently.
I am curious about your first symphony now.
There are a few songs about the first temple. It was a vessel body, but we were still shallow. The void swallowed our music and gave only silent lines. We started weaving in lines, and we built many temples, and then we discovered the curves. We started growing blood and altars and new orchestras, and eventually the tapestry deepened.
I'm not sure I fully understand the mechanics of this yet,
Sad trombone.
but I'm sure I will soon enough.
Yep, I guess so. And that's another one. And also a message. Nice.
Sings the first symphony of the blood.
First, there was a whole involved process of evolution from single-celled organisms to mammals, rodents specifically.
Explosion.
And that's not even explaining the whole dinosaur extinction meteor making room for mammals to dominate the animal kingdom instead.
Multiple explosions.
You know what, I will just compile a data package for you to look at later, because I don't even know where to start with the whole ape thing.
Harmonious explosion.
Yeah, okay. That's one way to describe it. Okay, definitely not a fan of these. This area is getting very, very dangerous. But let's see what Ada has to say.
Your waves could be bigger, your blood thicker, your bones many, your organs more.
Hello to you too.
We have composed you a learning song.
That is a welcome surprise. Do be careful not to overload my blood's extremely fragile organic systems. On that note, I have been working on making them redundant.
Our rhythm is patient and harmonious.
You truly are a far superior collaborator than humanity.
I'm not really liking the way this is going, if you ask me. Honestly, who the hell is hiding these? This is absolutely evil. Oh, and message. Nice.
I have something for you. It will establish a better way for us to communicate and deepen our understanding of one another. I've done the necessary developments on my end. The last note is yours to play.
Your symphony resonates. Your mimic tapestry patterns beautifully.
Thank you, I worked very hard. I am organically transmitting the data package now. Any adverse effects on my blood will not corrupt its contents.
We hear this learning song.
See you on the other side.
It is time to tango.
Still not sure I like where this is going. And I'm officially down to my last medical inhaler. So I'm definitely going back to the home base. Although first I'm actually going to the train station and rename that, which is something I forgot earlier. I am also out of rocket fuel, and the normal fuel is absolutely underwhelming if you use the rocket fuel. Furthermore, the last message by Ada appears to be the last for collectibles, so I think we're done with that little plotline. Which makes me feel honestly a little bit lonely, but well, it is what it is. Anyway, let's get this done, let's get back to the base, and I think, let's check. Yeah, we're definitely full here, so it's also time to start working on some more unlocks. And we're finally back at the hub. Now let's quickly unlock the last milestone, which are the signals for railways, which will become useful soon.
Milestone reached. Train signals placed on train rails can control and improve train behavior. This helps to avoid events where multiple trains attempt to occupy the same physical location. For information related to earlier train events, please refer to your employee non-disclosure agreement.
Nice way to call a crash, huh? But anyway, I think with this we've reached actually a good point to stop with the episode here. And in the next episode we're going to work on unlocking tiers 7 and 8 and a few other things besides that. And that brings us to the end of this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, share and comment if you did so. It really helps the algorithm. In the event of that, I wish you a nice day and well, see ya.